You are a chrononaut archivist, a sentinel of time, tasked with safeguarding the intricate tapestry of history. Your existence is a whisper in the annals of epochs, your actions unseen, your impact profound yet imperceptible. Today, however, the very fabric of that tapestry threatens to unravel, and your role shifts from quiet observation to urgent intervention. The crystalline walls of the Chrono Center hum with a low, resonant energy, a constant reminder of the temporal currents you navigate. You stand before Director Thorne, his face, usually a mask of calm authority, etched with a rare urgency. His holographic display flickers, showing a swirling vortex over ancient Egypt, a glaring anomaly in the otherwise stable timeline. "We have a critical breach," he states, his voice clipped. "The Eye of Ra, a pivotal artifact, has vanished from 1350 BCE. Its absence creates a paradox ripple, small now but growing exponentially. If not recovered, the very lineage of the 18th dynasty could be irrevocably altered, sending shockwaves through millennia. Your mission is clear, yet fraught with peril. Travel to Thebes, circa 1350 BCE, locate the Eye of Ra, observe its circumstances, and return it to its rightful place." The prime directive echoes in your mind: no direct interference, no altering events. You are a ghost, a witness, a restorer, never a participant. The weight of countless futures rests on your shoulders, a silent, invisible burden. You nod, the gravity of the task settling deep within your core. The preparation is swift, precise. Your chronosuit, a marvel of adaptive technology, molds to your form, ready to blend into any era. Your temporal displacement unit, a compact device humming softly at your wrist, is calibrated for the exact temporal coordinates. This is not merely a mission, it is a desperate race against the unmaking of history itself. The hum of the Chrono Center intensifies, a prelude to the journey that awaits. Every sensor, every data stream confirms the urgency. The Eye of Ra, a symbol of divine power and protection, is gone, and you are the only one who can bring it back without shattering time itself. You step into the chrono chamber, a spherical marvel of polished chrome and shimmering energy conduits. The air crackles with anticipation, a faint ozone scent filling your nostrils. The chamber doors hiss shut, sealing you within a cocoon of advanced technology. You take a deep breath, the familiar ritual of temporal displacement beginning. Lights flash, then dim, plunging the chamber into an eerie twilight. A low thrum vibrates through the floor, growing in intensity, rising from a murmur to a roar that reverberates through your bones. The world outside the chamber's viewport begins to blur, streaks of light and shadow stretching into impossible forms, colors bleeding into one another like spilled paint. Time itself becomes a viscous fluid, stretching and distorting, pulling you through an invisible vortex. The pressure builds, a crushing force that threatens to squeeze the air from your lungs, then abruptly releases. The blurring ceases, and the world snaps into jarring focus. You are no longer in the sterile, humming silence of the Chrono Center. Instead, you are enveloped by the raw, unfiltered chaos of ancient Thebes. The air hits you first, a stifling, oppressive heat that immediately begins to prickle your skin, thick with the scents of dust, spices, and something else, a primal, earthy aroma of unwashed bodies and burning incense. The alley where you materialized is narrow, cobbled with uneven stones, and surprisingly bustling for what feels like early morning. Donkeys bray nearby, their mournful cries cutting through the cacophony of human voices. Children laugh and shout, their games spilling out from doorways. A vendor nearby calls out his wares in a language you instinctively understand, thanks to your chronosuit's integrated linguistic matrix, though the specific dialect sounds guttural, ancient. The sun, a blazing orb in a sky of brilliant cloudless blue, beats down mercilessly, radiating a dry, intense heat that feels alien after the climate-controlled comfort of your home era. The sounds are deafening, a symphony of life and commerce that assaults your senses. The clatter of pottery, the rhythmic pounding of a distant hammer, the murmur of conversations, the distant chanting from a temple, all blending into a vibrant, overwhelming hum. This is the past, raw and untamed, and you are a ghost within its vibrant heart. Your chronosuit subtly adjusts, It's environmental regulators working overtime to protect you from the unfamiliar pathogens and extreme temperatures, but the sheer sensory overload is a shock to your system. The dust tastes like grit on your tongue, and the unfamiliar textures of the world press in from all sides. Disguised in the rough linen garments of a common merchant, your chronosuit subtly altering its appearance to match local fashion, you begin your meticulous reconnaissance. The labyrinths of Thebes unfold before you, a dizzying maze of narrow streets, bustling markets, and grand avenues leading to monumental structures. You move with practiced ease, an invisible observer amidst the throngs of people. Every detail is absorbed. The vibrant pigments on temple walls, the solemn processions of priests, the animated bartering in the souks, the stark contrast between the opulent palaces and the humble mud-brick dwellings. The sheer scale of the temples dedicated to Amun-Ra is breathtaking, their colossal pylons and towering obelisks reaching towards the heavens, testaments to a faith and power that defined an empire. You observe the rhythm of daily life, the rituals and routines that have been lost to time, now unfolding before your very eyes. Your wrist-mounted chronometer, a discreet device disguised as a simple bracelet, vibrates gently, its display showing a precise trajectory. The Eye of Ra's unique temporal signature emanates from a specific location, the opulent residence of High Priest Amenhotep, a man whose influence is second only to the pharaoh himself. As you approach the more affluent district, the atmosphere subtly shifts. The noise of the common market gives way to a quieter, more ordered hum. Guards with polished spears stand sentinel at strategic points, their watchful eyes scanning the crowds. You notice an unusual flurry of activity around Amenhotep's residence, a heightened state of alert that seems out of place. Servants move with a nervous haste, and the guards exchange hushed words, their expressions grim. You catch fragments of their whispers, words like sacrilege, desecration, and most tellingly, the amulet, gone. The implications send a cold shiver down your spine. The Eye of Ra isn't just missing, it has been stolen. The timeline is already fractured, far more deeply than your director had initially indicated. Your mission of observation has just become exponentially more complicated, demanding a delicate balance between remaining unseen and understanding the full scope of this temporal violation. The weight of the impending paradox presses down on you, urging you forward, demanding answers. Under the cloak of the deepening twilight, you execute your infiltration of the High Priest's residence. The security is formidable, but your chronosuit's stealth capabilities, combined with your extensive training in ancient security protocols, allow you to slip through the shadows like a phantom. You navigate ornate courtyards and dimly lit corridors, the air thick with the scent of expensive oils and incense. The silence within the residence is heavy, punctuated only by the distant calls of night birds and the rhythmic beat of your own heart. Reaching the High Priest's private chambers, you activate your miniature scanner. It's a marvel of temporal forensics, designed to detect residual temporal signatures, even those as faint as an artifact briefly displaced. The scanner's soft blue light sweeps across the intricately carved walls, the heavy tapestries, the ornate chests. Then a faint but distinct pulse registers. Behind a section of a false wall, cleverly disguised as part of a painted mural, the scanner confirms the amulet's presence. As you begin to carefully dislodge the hidden panel, a hushed conversation drifts from an adjacent room. The voice is low but clear enough for your chronosuit's audio enhancers to pick up. Two figures, their silhouettes visible through a decorative screen, are speaking in urgent tones. "The Eye of Ra is secure," one voice whispers, ragged with what sounds like exhaustion and triumph. "The ritual must proceed at dawn. High Priest Amenhotep will be powerless to stop us." The other voice, calmer, more authoritative, replies, "Indeed. With the amulet, the cult of Set will finally break the lineage of Akhenaten. The pharaoh's divine connection will be severed, and our true lord will rise. The bloodline will be rewritten." Your blood runs cold. This is far more than a simple theft. The amulet has been taken not by a common thief, but by a rival cult, the cult of Set, for a ritual explicitly designed to alter the very ancestry of the pharaoh. This isn't just a missing artifact, It's a deliberate, calculated act of temporal sabotage. The implications are staggering. If the pharaoh's lineage is changed, the entire course of Egyptian history, and by extension, countless future events, will be irrevocably altered. The paradox ripple would become a tidal wave, tearing apart the timeline. Your directive of non-interference suddenly feels impossible to uphold. You have stumbled upon a temporal bomb ticking towards detonation with the rising sun. The realization spurs you into action. There is no time for further observation. The prime directive, the very foundation of your existence as a chrononaut archivist, shatters under the weight of this impending catastrophe. You reach into the hidden compartment, your fingers closing around the smooth, cool obsidian of the Eye of Ra. It pulses faintly with an ancient, resonant energy. But as you withdraw the amulet, a faint, almost imperceptible tremor vibrates through the floor. A guard, alerted by some unseen trigger, shouts from the corridor. Your presence has been detected. Alarms blare, shrill and piercing, echoing through the once silent residence. Footsteps pound down the hallway, growing louder with terrifying speed. You have seconds. With a surge of adrenaline, you burst from the room, the Eye of Ra clutched tightly in your hand. Guards, armed with spears and bows, stream into the corridor, their faces contorted with rage. An arrow whistles past your ear, embedding itself with a thud in the wall behind you. There's no time to engage, only to flee. You vault over a low balustrade, landing lightly in a moonlit courtyard, the sounds of pursuit hot on your heels. You scramble up a trellis, your chronosuit's enhanced grip finding purchase on the ancient stone, scaling the wall to the rooftops. The chase becomes a desperate, heart-pounding blur across the pre-dawn skyline of Thebes. You leap from one flat rooftop to another, the distances often perilous, the drops dizzying. Below, the city is a chaotic tableau of awakening life and frantic pursuit. Guards on the ground weave through the narrow streets, their torches flickering like angry fireflies. From other rooftops, archers take aim, their arrows hissing past you with alarming frequency. But it's not just the palace guards. You spot figures in the distinctive black and red robes of the Set cultists, their faces grim, their pursuit relentless. They are after the amulet, and they know you have it. You are caught between two forces, both equally determined to seize the artifact. The chaos of the awakening city becomes your ally. You dive into a bustling market street, weaving through bewildered vendors and startled citizens, their shouts of alarm adding to the pandemonium. You narrowly avoid a charging chariot, its horses rearing in fright. A cultist lunges, his hand brushing your arm, but you twist away, disappearing into the labyrinthine alleys. The burning in your lungs is intense, your muscles screaming in protest. The sun begins to creep over the eastern horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, a grim reminder of the impending ritual. You are running out of time and out of options. With a final, desperate burst of speed, you push past the last mud-brick dwellings, past the cultivated fields, and into the vast, unforgiving expanse of the desert. The city's cacophony fades behind you, replaced by the howling wind and the pounding of your own heart. You are alone, exhausted, but the Eye of Ra is still in your possession. You have escaped, but the real challenge has only just begun. Exhaustion gnaws at your bones, each breath a searing agony in your lungs. The relentless desert sun, now fully risen, beats down on you, baking the very air. You stumble, half crawling, into a desolate wadi, a dry riverbed carved by ancient, forgotten floods. Its steep, rocky sides offer a meager refuge from the scorching wind and the prying eyes of your pursuers, who you pray have lost your trail in the vastness of the sands. You collapse behind the cluster of sun-baked boulders, the Eye of Ra still clutched tightly in your hand, its cool obsidian a stark contrast to your burning skin. As your racing heart slowly begins to steady, the full weight of your predicament crashes down upon you. The cult's ritual, designed to rewrite the pharaoh's lineage, is scheduled for dawn. You look at the sky. The sun is already a hand's breadth above the horizon. You've bought yourself minutes, perhaps an hour at best, before they regroup and restart their dark ceremony. The paradox, the catastrophic unraveling of history, is no longer a distant threat. It is an imminent reality. Your primary directive, drilled into you since your earliest days as an archivist, screams in your mind, Observe, do not interfere. Your role is to be a ghost, a silent witness, but the timeline has already been violated. The Eye of Ra was stolen. The cult of Set is actively attempting to alter the course of history. To merely observe now would be to allow the destruction of everything you are sworn to protect. The internal conflict is a torment, a battle between duty and conscience. If you do nothing, the future as you know it will cease to exist. Generations, entire civilizations might never come to pass. The very chronocenter you serve could vanish in a ripple of non-existence. Yet to intervene, even subtly, is to become an active participant, a temporal agent of change, risking unforeseen consequences, creating new, unpredictable paradoxes. The line between protecting history and actively shaping it blurs into an agonizing gray. You are alone in this desolate landscape, the fate of millennia resting on your shoulders, with no counsel, no oversight, only the stark choice laid bare before you. Do you uphold a broken directive and witness the unmaking of time? Or do you break that directive to save it, becoming the very thing you were trained to prevent, an architect of the past? The sand whispers around you, a silent judge as you grapple with the most profound moral dilemma of your existence. The choice must be made, and made quickly. The decision, when it finally comes, is not born of reckless abandon, but of a calculated, desperate necessity. The directive of non-interference, sacred as it is, cannot hold when faced with the absolute certainty of temporal collapse. You will intervene, but with the surgical precision of a ghost, leaving no trace of your presence. You will become an architect of the past, but one who merely corrects a grievous error, not one who builds anew. You activate your advanced sonic emitter, a discrete device integrated into your chronosuit's gauntlet. It's designed for localized atmospheric manipulation, capable of generating precise frequency vibrations that can resonate with the natural elements. You scan the horizon, locating the faint telltale signs of the cultists regrouping in a distant shallow depression, preparing to resume their ritual. The desert air is still, heavy, offering perfect conditions for your plan. With a series of precise adjustments, you target a specific atmospheric pressure point directly above their location. A low hum emanates from your gauntlet, growing in intensity, vibrating through the very air. Slowly, almost imperceptibly at first, the wind begins to pick up. A fine spray of sand rises from the desert floor, swirling into miniature vortices. The hum intensifies, resonating with the very particles of the desert. Within moments, the localized breeze transforms into a howling gale. The sand, whipped into a frenzy by your sonic emitter, forms a dense, impenetrable wall, rapidly coalescing into a furious, blinding sandstorm directly over the cultists' position. Their shouts of alarm are swallowed by the roar of the wind and the hiss of flying grit. The ritual, undoubtedly in its nascent stages, is thrown into utter disarray. Figures scatter, their robes whipping wildly, their torches extinguished by the force of the storm. Seizing the opportunity presented by the blinding chaos, you move with lightning speed. The sandstorm, a perfect temporary veil, shields your movements. You run across the desert, the Eye of Ra clutched in your hand, towards the distant towering pylons of the Temple of Amun-Ra. Your objective is not merely to return the amulet, but to make it appear as if it was never stolen, as if it had always been there. You slip through the temple's back entrances, navigating its familiar labyrinthine corridors with an uncanny sense of direction. The temple, usually a hive of activity, is quiet in the pre-dawn hours, its few guards hunkered down against the unexpected ferocity of the sandstorm. Reaching the high priest's inner sanctum, the very place from which the amulet was taken, you locate the original untouched pedestal. With a delicate touch, you place the Eye of Ra back onto its designated spot. It settles perfectly, radiating a faint, reassuring warmth. You quickly activate a localized temporal reset, a micropulse that subtly erases any lingering temporal signatures of your presence, or the amulet's brief absence from this immediate vicinity, creating the illusion of an unbroken timeline. The Eye of Ra is home, and to all appearances, it never left. You have played God, not to create, but to restore, and the immense weight of that act presses down on you, even as relief washes over you. The Eye of Ra rests securely on its pedestal, the temporal anomaly rectified, the future seemingly safe. Your task is complete. You activate your emergency beacon, a silent, energy-efficient signal that cuts through the temporal fabric, calling for extraction. The world around you begins to blur once more, the ancient stones of the temple dissolving into streaking light and swirling colors. The familiar pressure builds, then releases, and you are back. The chrono chamber doors hiss open, revealing the sterile, humming environment of the chrono center. Director Thorne stands waiting, his gaze piercing. He scans the data flowing from your chronosuit, his expression unreadable. "Temporal signature of the Eye of Ra stable," he states, his voice devoid of emotion. "Amulet detected back in its original location within the High Priest's sanctum, 1350 BCE. Timeline. However, our sensors registered a highly localized, anomalous weather event. An unprecedented sandstorm, striking precisely at the moment the amulet was recovered. Unexplained yet undeniably effective in disrupting certain activities." He looks up, meeting your gaze. And then the amulet simply appeared, as if it had always been there. You offer no explanation, no confession. Your directive was to find and return, and that you did. The timeline is stable, the paradox averted. The future, your future, is secure. But as Director Thorne continues to scroll through the historical graphs, a subtle, almost imperceptible detail catches your eye. On the intricate temporal charts where the flow of history is mapped with absolute precision, a faint, shimmering echo appears. It's not a paradox ripple nor a breach. It's a ghost in the machine, a whisper of an event that should not exist. A fleeting, almost imperceptible energy signature, appearing for mere moments in the ancient desert, a temporal footprint that fades as quickly as it appears, but never fully vanishes. The future is safe, but the past remembers. It remembers the sandstorm that defied nature, the amulet that spontaneously reappeared. And it remembers you. Not as a hero, not as a villain, but as a subtle, undeniable tremor in the fabric of time. A secret history known only to the silent echoes in the temporal data. But the most shocking fact, the true twist, is this. As you look closer at that ephemeral echo, you realize it is not a single, isolated event. It is a recurring pattern, a faint, almost imperceptible signature that appears at critical junctures throughout history, always coinciding with an unexplained miracle or a timely intervention that